Hey, this is Mike.
Hey, this is Kaz, and you are listening to watching Two Broke Watch Snobs, who have made it all the way to episode 275. Michael, hello. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. You ever nail your coffee ratios?
As far as like cream, sugar, all that kind
Cream
of
to
stuff,
sweetener situation?
I guess I nail it every time because I just drink it black.
You just do it black. That's right. Totally forgot. Yeah, that's like my
so-
dad. My dad every morning had 2 cups of black coffee, half a cigar, and then in the evening, he would finish the other half of the cigar and listen to an opera on Laserdisc. Because it was the 90s.
He sounds really cool. I'm gonna talk to my wife about adopting some of those things. First with the cigars, then the Laserdisc.
Operas on Laserdisc. I don't even know if you can find Laserdisc anymore. There's about 30% of the audience who's like, what the fuck is a Laserdisc?
Did I tell you my Laserdisc story? Sorry.
You know, we have lots of stories we've shared with each other. I don't think you've shared your Laserdisc story with me, but I would love to hear it.
The last time I saw a Laserdisc in a room was in some kind of antique shop. And it was by Aventura, Florida.
Yep.
And I don't know why my girlfriend at the time, we just stopped in this place and we were looking for stuff. And for some reason in the corner of this antique shop, they had some electronics, old cameras, old video game systems, but there was a stack, maybe like I don't know, this high. And it was all like Japanese pornographic films, but exclusively on Laserdisc.
On Laserdisc?
Yeah. And that was the last time I saw a Laserdisc in person. I didn't buy any of those. But
I was going to say, you bought all of them and you used them like in your home as a conversation piece, right?
It was just really funny. Yeah, that's my Laserdisc story. Probably not that good, but I thought I should tell you.
No, it's fantastic. The worst part about it is that you didn't buy all those Laserdiscs.
Yeah, now people are listening to this show and wondering what the hell's going on.
What is happening with this show? This is going to be a ton of fun. Episode 275 of the Two Broke Watch Snobs podcast. I don't know why we've never talked about this before, but Michael and I were talking about this like offline because Michael and I have plenty of conversations without you guys in the room. Sorry, everyone. And I think who was the impetus for this? For me, it was the custom watch department at Raven, right? For me, that was sort of the impetus.
Yes. Mr. Steve from Raven. He posted this past week a little custom job he did, and we'll show it here later.
Yeah.
And it's a time-only sterile dial military field watch type thing. It's really cool. And it looks a lot like a, blacked out CWC Mellor.
Right.
But it's got a screw down crown and it's freaking awesome. The response was immediately crazy from a lot of folks that wanted to buy it. And I just thought to myself, like, man, he's killing it with those customs. They all look really cool. And I got to thinking, obviously we see this from larger operations from Undone. But
Undone watches, yep.
Yeah, but not necessarily from many other folks in the boutique space or major brands, obviously, or anything like that. So I was wondering about custom watches. Should they be more popular? And kind of laying out the difference between custom watches that you could build online with a customizer and separating that from the artisan in Switzerland that works for 3 years on your case and is hand etching everything. These are not the custom watches we're talking about, but rather something that you could just kind of put together with an online tool really quickly or buy from a batch that's been pre-built, basically.
Right.
So,
as such, episode 275 of the Two Broke Watch Snobs podcast is thusly named Custom Watches. Should they be more popular?
Yeah.
Spoiler, the answer is yes. The answer is yes.
I think so. We can probably talk about some folks who, I don't know, maybe we can hope to inspire through this episode.
Exactly, right. But let's do this. So in the honor of tradition for the 275th time, sort of, do you want to do wrist check?
Yeah, I can kick us off.
Go for it.
it's been too long, but I'm wearing the Doxa,
Oh, girl.
the
I think
sub.
some people were getting worried too.
Yeah, this thing is awesome. It's been a little warmer out here recently, so metal bracelet and all that stuff. I refuse to take the bracelet off this watch.
I don't
Everyone,
think I've ever seen you take that bracelet off.
I've never done it. And these little sub 300 cases, they look really good on NATOs and all that kind of stuff. But I think the beads of rice bracelet that they did with this reissue pre-management change has
Mm-hmm.
been really good. I still have, well, I had for a short period the Doxa Army reissue,
Right.
and I kind of feel sad about not having it anymore. But that didn't come on a bracelet; that came on rubber. And I
That's right.
let's see, maybe I can pull up for a closer look.
Does that thing is your Doxa, is it, because I haven't seen it in a while, does it have like scratches? Is it covered in like gouges? Is it
Oh, it's super
clearly worn?
scratched. This is the watch for anyone that's wondering. It's a reissue that came out in 2017. Sheesh. So I've had this for a
Mm-hmm.
while. Limited to 300 pieces. And afterwards, Doxa started launching other ones like this black version here, 300. And maybe it's not in this thread. Yeah, no, it's not. But they have this one in black, 300 pieces, this
Yep.
one, 300, and then a white one. But yeah, this is really, it's pretty beat up, and it's losing the some of the orange fill in the numbers on the dive
Oh, you
bezel.
were saying that's right.
Yeah, so here in this image where you see the, yeah, I'm like, this, the one on the 150 is gone for me. I
Wow.
think but I think that's pretty cool. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny. Like yes, on a watch like that, that's cool. It gives it character. But like in my mind, I'm like, oh no, can you like, is that under warranty? Can you get them to like put more paint in the engravings? But like, no, it's fine. It's
I don't
fine.
even know. I don't even know how I would try to like claim a warranty for this thing now, because it was kind of a different company
Yeah,
when I bought
yeah.
this. So, but it looks pretty sweet. I've handled this Doxa and one new Doxa.
Hmm.
I think the quality is pretty comparable. I that the Army was great. Kind of miss it, but again, there's only one Doxa that you really need, and it's an orange dial. So it doesn't
Beach
matter
of
which one.
rice.
You can get the 300T, or there's a newer, smaller one. I think it's a sub 40 millimeter case, and they look
Wow,
pretty good, and they come in all the.
that's got to be a tiny dial. I mean, the dial is already small on yours. Is 42, right?
That's a good point. Yeah, mine is 42, and when you see it in person, you're like, oh,
Oh, fucking what? What
it's
time
a
is it?
weird thing. I always say that when the so before this one came out, they had non co-branded dials.
Hmm.
So it was vintage dimensions of the original sub 300, and
Right.
people ate them up immediately. And then shortly after delivery, you saw a ton on eBay. And I remember seeing watch you seek threads and dive watch connection threads where folks were just saying, I couldn't do the tiny dial, but I don't know, it's charming. It's pretty cool. It's,
That's your watch.
it's one of my forever watches. I
Damn
think,
straight.
I think it's the flagship, people say. I was
The
thinking about
flagship of your collection.
yeah, I saw a Reddit thread last night. I was kind of funny. It was about watch collecting tropes and the worst ones. It'd be kind of fun to make an episode out of that. But
The
my
worst
journey,
tropes.
strap monster, all these types of things.
I
Maybe
feel like
there's an idea there.
we've done something like that. We have to do. Yeah, we can. Let's
We did
workshop it.
we did social media tropes. I think that
Oh,
we
maybe that's what it
or trends
was.
that
That
need
was
to die.
great.
That was a fun episode.
Trends. That's funny. I love it. That's a good wrist check. It's been a while since we've seen it.
Yeah. What do
So
you got?
heck yeah. So yeah, this is going to be super cool. Huge thank you to Boulder Supply Co. for actually sponsoring my wrist check for the episode. I'm actually super into this watch. I'm wearing the Adventure Field Medic 2. This is a titanium Mecha Quartz pulse meter, under $300. It's existing in a very interesting spot in this sort of, micro to mid popularity watch brand. Oh, good, you're pulling up on the screen. Area here. Under $300 generally, most of the watches you'll be looking at won't really have any sort of like X factor or defining feature. You'll see a lot of like sub clones, or you'll see a lot of watches that are kind of forgettable. I was actually pretty surprised by this. So everyone knows, I'll hold this one I'm wearing up closer to the screen. Everyone knows I'm very much into titanium. It is also a fully loomed dial. I'm glad you have that on the screen as well. And
That
it is,
looks wild.
it's
Wait,
really cool actually.
is the whole case blacked out?
No, it's
No.
gray.
Oh, I guess it's just
It's like
the
this gray
shot here.
titanium. I think they're just doing that in the
In the
in the
video.
image for the loom. But 38 millimeters. This thing is probably about 12 millimeters thin or thick, if you will. It is a VK64 megaquartz movement. The pulse meter scale on here is really cool. For anyone that knows anything about me, I very strong affinity for pulse meters, just as my journey to get my journey. We're talking about the journeys before. My journey to get the Slava Medical. Um, for people that don't know, the Slava Medical is, or if for people that don't know, a pulse meter is essentially, it's a, how chronograph complication has like a tachometer that helps you calculate with the chronograph movement, I think speed or something like that,
Yeah.
or distance. The idea of a pulse meter, you can see here, graduated for 5 respirations, graduated for 30 pulsations. Those are different scales you can use as the chronograph hand engages, as the long as second hand engages, for you to actually determine heart rate, pulse. Uh, Hence the name Venture Field Medics. So this thing is actually a ton of fun. I'm very surprised by this. I think Boulder's operating in also a very interesting spot because when we were chatting, one of the things that really was emphasized is we were talking about this with your doxa. We want watches to get damaged. Like, we design watches to wear age and wear patina and to look better. The worse they travel, or the more they travel with you, the worse the watch looks, the better it is, because that gives it more character and it really becomes more of a defining feature of your particular story with that watch. I love that. Like, I've always been really weird about the idea of buying a watch and like wrapping it in like cloth and putting it in like a glass cloche and then putting it in your gun safe with your Krugerrands and your guns. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wear the watch. Wear the watch. Fall off a bike with it. Fall down the stairs with it. Climb a mountain with it. Sit on the bus stop with it. Hit it against the edge of the Disney cruise ship over by Frozen Treats, like yours truly did with the watch of his a long time ago. That resonated with me really, really well, and I think this watch is definitely something that's pretty cool in that spirit. Like, I could see this thing looking really killer, all banged up. So I would totally encourage folks, go and check out the Boulder website. I was definitely impressed in regards to that, especially with that idea of designing watches to look better with damage, just to really feel like they're part of the journey. Again, the journey with you. So, and again, huge thank you to Boulder for sponsoring the wrist check. I have another Boulder here. It is the Odyssey 44, and you will see me. Keep an eye out. I'll secretly switch wrists at some
You have
point
to,
in the
you have
episode.
to keep watching and or listening.
But that's what I'm wearing. I'm going to struggle to get this off my wrist. It is on a seatbelt NATO as well, and the NATO hardware is titanium.
How's the quality on the fabric?
The fabric quality is really, really good. The ends here, let me show you. Nylon strap, excuse me. Not NATO. So the end here, there's a little bit of almost adhesive. Now, I know this is I think a strap that other people have used. So, but that's the only thing that kind of stuck out to me. I don't know if you can see it there a little bit,
Yeah, it's a
but the
review watch.
holes, yeah, the holes and the actual like fabric, it's actually really good. I love how thin this thing is because I have it doing the double loop thing, but it
Okay.
doesn't feel like it's going very high on my wrist. But also the lugs angled down, so it accommodates the strap pretty well. So I like I said, for $300, this thing is operating in a really cool space.
Are the holes on the strap heat sealed? like the kind of like the end of the strap. So do you see that?
Looks like it, yes.
That's cool. That's a nice little detail.
Yeah,
$2.99, not bad.
I'm happy with it. So heck yeah. That's my wrist check. I'll never say no to a pulse meter, and I'll never say no to something titanium. No, there's some titanium dog turds out there. But pulse meters I'll probably never say no to.
I still don't have something in titanium.
You
Kind
got
of
to get
sad.
with it, man.
I know.
But that's my wrist check. This is the normal portion of the show where we would go to housekeeping, talking about like website changes and things like that. Just as a reminder to folks, um the housekeeping portion, and really, if you want to keep up to date with everything on the website, go and subscribe to the newsletter. You can find the newsletter subscription for Two Broke Watch Knobs on our homepage, or you can also see it on any post if you scroll down a little bit. Every month we'll be doing a newsletter drop where we talk about changes on the website. There's also going to be a video accompanying it as well, and so that'll be pretty cool. Oh, although, do you want to talk about our Father's Day post?
Yeah, let's talk about that. So good.
Father's Day this year, in the year 2024, heralded the return of the balanced cock bugle.
Yeah, let's
The much aligned, there you go. The much maligned and misunderstood, magnanimous balanced cock bugle.
wait, I can't find it.
I should have prepared Michael for this so he could have had the tab open. I'm springing it on him.
Yeah, let's share real quick.
You're gonna get a taste of housekeeping.
Quite the story.
I was blown away. I think it was amazing. So, in time for Father's Day, local news broke that a local man was arrested at a food line, specifically in Shelbyville, Tennessee, I believe. Local man was arrested in a food line after a new tantrum, claiming his father transformed into a disapproving watch. So sad.
Yeah, it's weird. I guess a lot of young men, especially, they've been having issues with thinking about their watches as dads and their dads as watches. I don't. There must be something in the water. I don't know.
Something must have happened. Can we talk about the impetus for this?
Yeah, of course.
The Hodinky post.
Yeah.
If my dad was a watch.
Yeah, something
like they did a post, and I swear I thought it was fake.
Well, I sent you a screenshot first, and I think you just immediately wrote back asking, "Is this real?
Is this real?" It's like an image of like a little kid holding the hand of a watch, and it's something like if my dad was a watch or something like that. And if this were April 1st, I'd be like, okay, that's actually a really funny,
yeah,
like April Fool's idea. But no, it was Father's Day. The day in which we're supposed to honor fathers, which I guess was interpreted by the folks over there as, unsentiifying them and making them a watch as opposed to a being who cares and loves for someone, which is fine. It's whatever, And
yeah,
then everyone yeah, I'm a dad. That happened. I was there. I was in the room.
It's a lot of work.
Haven't gotten more than 4 hours sleep in a long time, but it's all good, fine. The post was just, I'm sure it was done on Hodinky with the wellest of intentions, but the headline was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
So, and it sparked this idea. This was all Michael.
Oh my gosh. Yep, that's where we're at. It was a good return moment for the balanced cock bugle. Keep an eye out for more.
Can you pull it back up? I want to focus on one line, which is probably and you already know what line I'm going to ask about. I'm asking you to break up. I'm going to
get there real quick.
When you find it, zoom in. It's right there. It's underneath the newsletter thing. Can you zoom in a little bit? It's hard for me to see. Yeah. Local authorities arrived in the scene shortly after Tom's dramatic clash with the Pop-Tarts, finding him curled up in the fetal position near the dairy section, muttering, "I'll never be good enough for you, superlative chronometer dad watch."
Oh, boy.
Congratulations, Michael. You crushed it.
This is This is peak TBWS.
That's it. That's the only housekeeping you're going to get. I just wanted to talk about that. Also, happy belated Father's Day to anyone else out there.
Yeah. Happy Father's Day, man. It's your
Fucking A.
Is it technically your first one?
No, he was like 3 or 4 weeks old during my first one.
Okay.
Yeah, but I was in the trenches. I don't even know.
You didn't know what day it was.
I didn't even know what was going on, dude.
For sure.
Like what's a watch? Like that's where I was at mentally. Heck yeah. Custom watches. And your changing body. I had to stop making that joke.
Yeah, a little
I
while
love the
ago,
idea.
A little while ago, we saw Raven launch this. Here, and I'll just share it. The custom department.
Yeah.
And one of the things that stood out to you first was the. Let's see. I really like it. Also, the logo that he puts on them.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It just looks really cool. So, Raven, no stranger to the show. The brand owner was a very early interview guest, maybe even
we had Steve on the show a while back.
I think he might have been our second guest.
That was a great episode. Go and check that episode out. Yeah.
But I saw this custom department pop out, and he's very transparent about the parts that you get with this. So
this is the one you were talking about at the beginning of the show?
So this is the one I was talking about. He posted this.
So cool.
And the comments blew up, and I think he offers this for a total of $280, no strap, or you can get it with some kind of matching strap for a little bit more. And this is just really interesting to me because he and the brand, they still have the core collection of the Trekker and the Endeavor and all those types of things that he makes, but he also does this custom department, and I mean, he's still just one guy or maybe two guys at the most, and he keeps up with it. And I'm curious to see how it grows. And it just got me thinking, I would love it if, I don't know, all my favorite brands did something like this. Because
can you go back to that watch? So this is something that I think was really cool about the idea that when can you zoom in on the watch? Yeah. I think when Raven started doing this, the idea was that we had parts left over from certain things, and we have a good mix and match of things we've done in the past. We're putting them together, and we're doing this idea of a custom department. I thought I recognized those hands. Do you remember my Stevrol Bronze Moray?
Oh, is that what
those are the latter hands that I used to have on that watch.
That's so funny.
I'm sure they're on other watches that like in the now called the Raven core collection. But yeah, I saw those. I'm just like, I know those hands. I miss my Bronze Moray so much. I actually really do miss that watch a lot.
Were you able to find it or track it down?
I found the original Reddit thread with the person that purchased it, and then I'm recording this, so I shouldn't say stalked, but then I kind of stalked him a little bit, and then then they had sold it, and now I don't know where it is. So if you bought a Bronze Moray from someone on Reddit, can you call me?
We'll put your phone number in the description, of course.
Yeah. And the last 4 digits of my social and my home address, and that should be everything you need to get in contact with me.
Yeah, or do other things.
This is cool. This is really fun watches on here.
Yeah, I always go back to this one. This GMT is like 38 millimeters, so you can do a lot of different stuff. It's not necessarily a builder, but I think he welcomes you to get in contact and see if you want to do something. But I don't think I've ever owned a custom watch. I might have some ideas for a custom watch, but
they aren't as popular. Have had one.
Have I? Remind me.
I don't know if you ever had it, but we had or we have a TBWS undone watch.
We do, but there's one. There's only one. That's one of one.
Yeah.
you have serial number 0, right? It's one of
Yeah.
those cool things.
Yeah.
So that's another company that, I mean, when we were working with Undone to build that out and write a, was it one article or two of them?
It's a two-parter. The first part was about the building experience, like using the builder on the website, and the second part was like what the actual watch, was like on the wrist.
So they kind of went the opposite or reverse order here. They started out strictly as, I think, a customizer, and then
That was the big thing.
then they started selling their own timepieces, their own core collection, I guess you would call it. And you still have that thing, right?
Mm-hmm. It's kicking around here somewhere.
Nice. So I guess the question is why aren't they more popular with other brands that are maybe a similar size to Raven?
I think you kind of mentioned it, the ability of not even just a watch brand, but any brand to operate with manufacturing flexibility is contingent on the size of that brand. Larger brands can't do things like that on the fly. Bigger ships are harder to turn or to change directions on. I think this is very much in the wheelhouse. So the path that Raven took is very much in the wheelhouse of smaller brands, where if you're a small 2 to 5 individual, watch brand, and you've done several different generations and several different iterations of designs over the years, and maybe you now have accumulated a collection of parts where you're like, hey, I have this old Trekker dial and I have these old Moray ladder hands. Maybe I can start putting them together. Maybe I can give people the option of putting those pieces together. And that's not difficult to do, because all you need to do is go on your social media, make a post, go into your Shopify website, make a page, and then let the orders come in. Whereas if you were a larger organization, you'd have to put a PowerPoint together. You'd have to get buy-in from upper management. You'd have to get budgeting figured out. You'd have to get logistics around shipping figured out. If you're just a dude in a room with stuff, you could figure it out. But when you're a larger organization, it's difficult. Undone is different in that they baked that into their business model from the start.
Yeah.
It's easier to be a custom watch place like Undone and then switch gears to more like static offerings than it is to do the other way around. So I don't know if we'll ever see anything like what Raven's offering on the scale of a brand larger than them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But the size of the business is totally a contingent factor.
Yeah, he just had some stuff lying around and thought, oh, this would be really cool to try out.
It's like what you do with the big bin of Legos. Remember when you were a kid, you had a big old bin of Legos and you just put things together from different... Did you ever have Legos? You're giving me the face.
I wasn't a Lego kid. I don't know why.
What did you... All right, we're changing topics. What did you do? What was your...
I built these little model airplanes that I'd
okay.
buy. I think
that's
that was
not applicable to the metaphor, but yeah.
Sorry.
It's not no, that's perfect.
It's not making it a bit easier.
No. So for anyone that doesn't know what I'm talking about, the idea that I'm referencing is this sort of nostalgic idea, at least here in the US, if you grew up in the 80s and 90s like me did, like me, is that you'd buy Lego sets, and Lego sets came as specific scenes. So there'd be like the Robin Hood one, and there'd be like the, I don't know, like knights one, like medieval knight one, and everything like that. And you'd build a set, and inevitably and eventually the set would be taken apart, and you just put all your Lego pieces into a bin. And then what you would do is, from that bin of just random parts, you start to put together your own Lego things, your own sort of ideas and things like that. That's kind of the idea. This metaphor has gone on way longer than I originally intended to, because I had to explain it. But that's basically the idea. Like it's a box full of parts that you can put together into your own sort of like custom ideas.
Yeah, I had a problem as a kid where I thought I could eat food by sticking it in my ears. Okay. And it's really weird. And I had to go to the doctor a lot and get my ears pumped. So my parents probably kept me away from small things that I could stick in my ear.
Small, sharp, pointy objects. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is not toddler stage, by the way. This is where it gets
You were 25.
Michael, you can't keep doing this. Yeah, weird story about me. So yeah, that's probably why I didn't have Legos.
Everyone sticks things into holes. It's fine.
I'm still uncovering and analyzing a lot of trauma daily and trying to put the pieces together. But yeah, that could be why I didn't
Lego
have
pieces.
Legos.
Yeah. We're gonna heal together, I promise. But
hope
no,
so.
I think the size of the business plays a large role. And then the other piece, and we kind of talked about this a little bit off air. I don't know how much it plays in the custom watch thing. We also have some larger and also quote unquote micro brands that do like branch watches, like military branch watches. Those aren't custom in the sense of, oh, I'm going to send a brand a list of things I want in this one individual watch and they're going to do it, or, oh, I'm going to go and use this watch website's digital watch builder to put my own custom watch together. There's more logistics and planning and things like that. But I think more brands do military branch watches than those that do just like tried and true, like, you tell me what you want from what I have and I'll see if I can put it together watches.
Yeah. There's another kind of subset of these types of watches where people take what do you call it? Just existing pieces and send them to a customizer, somebody specialized like Bamford or Artisans de Genève. And you like Maroon 5, right?
Oh, that's complicated. I liked
question.
songs about Jane, and then the album after that a little bit, and then it just kind of became Adam Levine with people behind him.
Nice. Yeah, that happens. So the thing that you're looking at here is his Daytona. I don't know if you've ever seen this. So this is a custom
I have
Adam Daytona, and I don't know who made it. Let's see. Oh yeah, Artisans de Genève. So they did this for him, and I guess if you're as cool as he is, you can put something like this together.
I don't like it.
I don't totally hate it. I really like the idea of doing this because people will take something like a Daytona and say that it's so sacred you can never piece it apart and do what Bamford does or do what this customizer does. And I just think to myself, oh, it's really just a stupid watch and you can do whatever you want with it. So I'm very pro doing stuff like this. It is ugly in a lot of ways.
I think objectively speaking, as an aesthetic object, it's very ugly looking. It looks like I got it as it looks like I won it in an arcade with tickets.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But yeah, no, totally agree in the idea of very few things are quote unquote sacred. And if you own the watch, depending on what it is, I guess, like, you can do whatever you want with it. But yeah, so this is another tier. This is another tier of custom watches. Third party customizers, like people who will customize your watch who are not the brand that made it.
Yeah, and it could be anybody from a local Hollywood jeweler that just ices out a watch, or somebody that does something more specialized like this, or somebody like, you know, the folks I'm thinking about sending my Panerai to just like bead blast it. I think some people will think that's a crazy idea because
I think it's gonna look so freaking cool.
Yeah, I'd probably wear it more. Also, it's been a while since I wore that one too. But Bamford specifically is another brand that has always, I feel like they've fought this uphill battle constantly because they're doing custom dials, blacked out Rolex watches, things like that. The Rolex fanboys lose their minds over that. And I don't know. Lately, I've been wanting to see more of that. I just like it as a custom or a customized watch like that. I think can really be an expression of just the things you like. Just like
it's also interesting, especially in the case. I'm sorry, we could talk about Raven. Especially in the case of Raven, where It was parts left over from other models. You ever been in a conversation with someone and they're just like, "Oh, I loved when the brand did this, but I wish it had this older watch collection that they did those hands, or I wish this
Yeah.
case was with that dial." It's almost like orological fan fiction. That's kind of like how that first iteration of the custom department over at Raven Watches started. So in essence, it's almost a very interesting expression of your love for that brand. If you're like, oh my God, I can finally have a Trekker case with, I don't know, an Endeavor dial. I don't think you can do that. I think those are literally completely two different size watches. Um, but like
Yeah.
that idea, like it then becomes another expression of how much you um, appreciate that brand. I think it's also really interesting the sort of not the dark side, but I remember when we had Steve on the show, and then in every subsequent conversation we've ever had with him after that, and just what we understand about the ethos of the brand is he does not like big colors. He doesn't like sort of flashy stuff. You know, he really just wants it to feel like a tool. He prefers like muted colors and those types of things. I think when he started doing the custom department ones, uh, I think he started having some like all gold, like faux gold, like plated gold, and like two-tone watches in there, which he started to do also, I think, in some lines outside of the custom department.
Hmm.
But it almost
Yeah.
sort of reinforced a little bit of a straying away from maybe what his original vision was. I think the gold stuff came about because he said people were asking him,
Hmm.
and his team was able to tell him like, yeah, we can do like, you know, a two-tone watch or a faux gold watch and have it look really, and they do look really good. Like it doesn't look like like cheap, you know, like crappy plated gold can look sometimes.
Yeah.
So you get that sense of where if you get people who are able to take your parts of the brand and sort of jumblerize them and customize them to a watch they want, you create the opportunity to maybe stray away from a bit of your brand identity. Because there's, but that's also maybe the point of the custom department. There are watches in the custom department that you wouldn't normally see in
Yeah.
like Raven's core collection. So maybe that also makes it difficult for some brands because they don't want to relinquish some creative control over brand vision and then the actual final product that folks have on their wrists, you know? I'm gonna
Yeah.
close
That's a
this
good.
tab of bronze morays because I'm really
You're
mad
just
that I
you're
got
just
rid of
looking
them.
at listings.
There are none. Like there's they're all gone.
I remember when I think you called me when I was at work and you asked me,
I
should I
was
do
very
this?
nervous because it was the most I'd spent on a watch, or it was second. No, it was the most I ever spent on a watch. And I was like, "Oh, should I do it? Like, I'm in New York. Should I do it?" And you were just here. You're like, "Yeah, you should do it." I'm like, I don't know. I think I should do it. And I'm just like,
Be irresponsible. Just go. Just do it.
"Yeah, I'm just gonna do it." I did it, and it was great, and I miss it.
Oh man.
Well,
Um,
if I ever see one in the custom department of the Raven website, I'm buying it.
maybe he has some cases kicking around. You never know. Um, I think then the next and craziest level is when you get something super custom from, we've been saying the big brands won't do this
Mm-hmm.
because a bigger ship is harder to steer and pivot and things like that. There are cases where somebody, even like Patek, would do a custom watch for you. But
Depending on who you are, right?
yeah, yeah. So I didn't know they did that until some recent exhibits of Ed Sheeran comes to mind, and he showed a very tastefully modified or customized Patek World Timer, where the only change
Wow.
was they took one of the cities in the world time scale and they just put his hometown on there.
We talked about that. That's very tasteful and that's very
That's
personal.
that's so dang cool. And I guess there are some special cases where you can get customized watches. I think way more tasteful than that Adam Levine Daytona, I'd say. Sorry, Adam. I know you're a show watcher.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
sure he's an avid listener
yeah.
of this show.
Um, but when I think about brands that I wish could do this, I'm not really thinking about any huge ones. I don't think I'd want there isn't a custom Rolex that I think would be on my list if I were able to command that kind of power. You know,
Wouldn't there be though? Because you and I have talked about Rolex. There's a really interesting uh, kind of polemic bifurcation in Rolex between people who understand the history of it and its sort of original driving impetuses of being like a tool watch and like that kind of idea. And so that's one part. And the other part where it's now become like a luxury status symbol. If you had the opportunity, wouldn't you try to customize like a Submariner? Not that was trying to pay homage to the original like 4 digits or whatever, but a modern version, but that wasn't designed to be like a luxury status symbol
I will show
timepiece.
you that kind of exists already. I know the watch you're thinking of, and it would be a mill sub. And you're thinking, okay, is there a modern mill sub from Rolex? Kind of. And that was actually done by Bamford. So
Bamford.
they took
This is very cool. This is 100% what I'm talking about.
I think they took this was 2016. So it's probably an 1140-60, and they basically modified it to look like a mill sub with mill sub
All right, this is
hands.
really cool looking, actually.
I mean, is there a price here?
Because it captures the ethos of a modern Rolex, but it doesn't stray from its history, or it doesn't feel like it's straying from its history. What's the price?
Yeah.
I can't read it on there.
It's 19,375, which is hilarious because this is from 2016,
Oh my god!
before the Rolex shortage,
Yeah.
and I feel like this is a price people would pay these days to get a secondary market. I don't know, Kermit or Starbucks, whatever it's called now.
Kermit bucks.
Kermit bucks. So this is to answer your question. Yeah, maybe I stand corrected. I might want to do something like this.
It'd be cool to have something. So this is actually something interesting that I think that I want to. I'll just small question with the third party, customizers, people who customize a watch after the fact that's been created. So kind of like we're talking with this Bamford one. Is there something more to say about the value of a custom watch from the original brand? Like, is it more, and this goes into one of those things of like what's valuable to someone as a collector? Is it more valuable to a collector to have had this done by Rolex and distributed from Rolex, or is the value insignificant and it's fine if a third party like entity does it?
I think it depends on where your psychology is when you're acting as the buyer. So
Hmm.
if you're getting something like this and you know that this is just for me, there's no chance I'd ever sell it.
Right.
I'd have to be in real dire situation to sell something like this. You know that you'd take a hit if it came from a Bamford type third party. So it's I think it's objectively more valuable if it comes from the brand itself. And that
Right.
even goes all the way to um like diamond precious stone type work that you might see on bezels or dials. it's
Right.
always it's always cooler to have Patek put the diamonds on in house. Same thing with Rolex, instead of some random jeweler that you go to, which people do a lot.
Mm. No,
So
I mean, I feel the same way. So I hadn't seen this exact sort of thing before. This is actually really cool. I could totally see you doing this.
I mean, I didn't have the money then, and I don't have it now. To So I'll continue wearing my CWC 1980s Royal Navy diver,
That thing
which
is
is
badass.
has scratched that itch. But
Heck yeah.
yeah, I guess I probably wouldn't go to Rolex. Well, they
So
wouldn't do it for me anyways. But that Bamford
I
one
so
was pretty cool.
I interrupted you. You were going to talk about brands that you would want to see do custom departments, and we were originally saying you wouldn't go to any big brands. Like who 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 do you want to see, or who do you think it would be cool to see like custom stuff from?
I think because of the quality of their parts and the quality that both you and I have experienced from the brand. I think, and they're agile. The way that they operate.
Yeah.
I would love to see Monta do that. Honestly,
Interesting. Operationally, yes, it is achievable. Is there enough variation? Because remember, Monta is one of the interesting brands where big changes for them are small tweaks.
Yeah.
Generation to generation within different watch collections, whether it's the Atlas or the Triumph, which I have. That's in my personal collection. Is there enough differentiation between those collections? Because I to put something together that would be unique. You know what I mean? Like, what are you picturing? Like, what would you? Because you really like these Sky Quest, right?
The Sky Quest, yeah.
You really like that watch.
I do. I think about that watch every day. I gotta shit.
I don't think it's exaggerating, everyone.
Yeah, no. So, but I'm gonna go back to our Orological fan fiction episode. Titanium with a blueberry type bezel. So all blue bezel. Oh, I'm seeing it, man. But that's probably what I would hope for. I think Notice is somebody that's getting really close. They have their Notice design lab.
Yeah.
But that's more if you want to put together these larger orders, say you want to do a limited run with them or something. I think that's one of the services they offer now. But it's not really a customizer,
right,
where you could just put it together like an undone type operation. So that, I think, that's the brand that I'd probably pick for that. I don't know about you.
You know who would crush it? Just because I don't know of anything specific I would want to see from this brand, but I know just because of all the different model iterations and designs they've done and the build quality that they have and just the following that they have, I know it would totally be insane. Do you know who would totally crush it in this idea of a custom watch area?
Who?
You remember Zelos?
Oh, yeah.
There are so Zelos or Zelos, however you say it. I'm looking at their website right now. There are so many different models and generations and designs and ideas, and like there's like meteorite dials and like fully loomed dials and like just like kind of sunburst dials. There's so many. There has to be in his attic
parts on hand.
Just parts on hand.
Yeah,
there has to be. He
has so many models.
So many. And they're all so different, but they're still very interestingly in this design ethos that Zelos has created for themselves. Like, there's nothing in particular I think I would want to see, but I think if they offered some sort of, this is a great option for an online builder, like an online watch building configuration experience. I could totally find something I could get into here.
Yeah.
So this would be a good one. Another brand, just personally, because they're very close to my heart, and actually they do offer branch watches. They do military branch watches. Gavox. I'm a Gavox fangirl at heart. I will be to the day they bury me out back. Like there is something very okay, perfect. Yeah, there's something very gravitating and attractive about what Michael Happy's doing over at Gavox, specifically because, and as you've heard us say this on the show before, if Gavox watches existed in a world where there were no watch nerds and there were no social media accounts and none of that bullshit, they would make these exact watches.
Yeah.
Like these are very much... Sorry.
He's been making the Avadiver for forever.
I fucking love the Avadiver.
And I keep being reminded that he has this this GMT version that was teased for so long, and now it's finally here. I can't believe I still haven't tried it. So
this would be a cool one. I think, depending on like, and I remember I had the Gavox Rhodes for a long time. That chronograph that was designed to pay homage to the love of road tripping. Like
Yeah.
there's just so many cool things in the Gavox collection where if there was some sort of quote unquote custom department, oh man, someone
That'd
could
be
put together some really cool stuff.
I was just reminded, thinking about Rolex again. It's fun. I don't know how often you're on the site. I'm definitely not on the site
What,
constantly.
our site?
No, the Rolex website.
Oh, I was gonna say I've never been to our website. The Rolex website, not too much. I don't find my it's not in my cache of bookmarks.
I definitely don't go there every day. But when you're looking at the Submariner or the GMT or anything, the way they present the product, like if you click the the shop or buy button or something like that, they they present the experience as a customizer, and it's
Really? What do you
almost
mean?
here. I'll show you real quick. The they almost make it out to be like it's a customization experience, but it's not.
That's
If you're
slightly deceptive.
here, I'll show you real quick. So
Yeah.
let's go. I don't know what's happening here. Congratulations, Bryson.
Apparently he's a
Um,
golf person. I don't know.
so if we go to, I don't know, let's
Or he
do a
just won Publishers Clearinghouse.
let's do the GMT. So look, when you're here looking at these watches, you have
Yeah.
a configure button, and they make it seem like you're
Configure
building
your GMT Master 2.
start. So you can pick the material.
That's so interesting. It's just a product filter.
It is, and
It's
this is
just a
how.
product filter. Yeah.
So you have the bezel, red and blue, and you go to bracelet.
I mean, one could make the argument that you're customizing your Rolex, but not really. They're just giving you a set of predetermined options that have the results for their core collection.
Yeah,
Like,
this is
and I'm
just this reference.
and I'm sure different options change based on what you choose before. So if you choose a bezel style that is only congruent in, I don't know, 3 out of 5 options, moving forward down the tier, you're only going to be presented with options of those 3 watches or whatever. So
Yeah,
this is kind of slimy. Not some. I mean, it. If I weren't a watch person and I was on this website, I would have the experience of like, oh, I'm configuring, excuse me, my custom Rolex. But then the question has to become, is that a bad thing? Is that a bad thing for someone to feel like?
you see that happen here because to the right of this watch is the
Hmm?
GMT master bezel with the green text, and you can only get that in this case with the new gray black one that just came out.
Right.
So like you said, there are specific parts of the configuration where it would force you into just a
Hmm?
certain reference. It's not really customization, but they are
No,
presenting it that way.
I feel
So
like it's kind of sleazy.
yeah.
That's just me. But again, at the end of the day, is there something wrong with someone feeling like they're getting a custom watch experience, even if they're not getting a custom watch experience?
Well, I had a friend of the family or a friend of my wife's family that apparently mentioned to my mother-in-law that they were buying one for like each of their kids. This is like a different world that I don't live in. But
It's a thing. Yeah.
yeah, and they my wife came to me and said, "Oh, like they're getting custom Rolexes." And I thought, they're probably not. Like they're not they're up there, but they're not, you know,
Custom Rolex up there.
oil baron royalty type people.
Right.
And I don't know, maybe they saw that and thought, oh,
They
it's a
thought they
custom
were
watch.
customizing Rolexes.
So because they're not really watch people, they're more like it's the brand type people.
We call them wealth enthusiasts around here, Michael.
We do. Yep, that's in the A to Z word list in our style guide. Yep, I forgot.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Rolex, if you're
I don't know.
listening,
I don't know how long that experience has been on the website, but yeah.
if
Just
anyone
keep,
knows, let us know in the comments.
yeah.
If that's a thing. I've never noticed that before.
Mm-hmm.
Take note, all other watch brands. Maybe you should do that too. I don't know. It
It
feels
is
weird.
it is a fun interactive way to, like you said, filter through the products, but it's not really.
I'm sure they probably A/B tested or split URL tested the shit out of that, and they realized the engagement was so high because people thought they were configuring their own personal Rolex.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, there's not really a. I don't think it takes you to a buy it now button. I don't think that exists on this website.
Yeah, what happens? Oh, it might just do like, it might just be like a store locator thing, or like maybe you give them your phone number and the closest
And they throw it away.
AD to you, and they throw it away, and they promptly crumple it up and they throw it the fuck away.
They print it out first, and then they throw it away.
They print it out in all caps, and someone highlights it with a yellow highlighter, and then they crumple it up and throw it away.
You just get at the very bottom of the page, contact an official Rolex jeweler. They don't even they don't even call them authorized dealers.
Jewelers.
Yeah. So that's what happens.
Very interesting.
I'd go with Bamford if I was doing anything Rolex. I know some people think you're. I mean, I wonder if you give them an 1140-60, if they'd just be like, yeah, we still have some of those dials and hands, we can do that. So
I don't know. Only one way to find out.
Yeah.
You know what I miss? If I had no, I don't know. I don't know if this counts. In the same vein, I really miss so I'm switching gears to Omega. I really miss Omega utilizing quartz movements. I miss the quartz Aquaterra collection. They phased them out. You can still find them. You can still find them used and everything like that. And I'm gonna spout some sacrilege. I'm gonna say things that are probably gonna upset people. You know the Railmaster?
Mm-hmm. The one you like?
I would hump so hard a quartz Railmaster.
The jeans dial?
Yeah. I totally get the master coaxial, everything. It's super cool. I love the idea. I think it is absolutely a great feather in the cap of Omega. I still like quartz. I would very much like a Railmaster in quartz. I think that'd be badass. I just wish quartz was utilized more. So if I had the option of picking up the phone and calling, it'd be like, I would like a custom Omega. I would like a custom Omega Railmaster in Kaz teal with quartz movement. Although that might end up looking like a Zelos.
It could.
So I might as well just buy a Zelos.
Do you remember when we were in San Francisco and we walked into that AD and the
I think I asked about them, right?
The ceramic Seamasters had just come out, and
yes,
we asked, and he kind of chuckled like, "No, they don't do that."
I asked, I'm like, oh, do you have any of the quartz models? And just like, no.
They still do it for, I think, some ladies' watches, but that's about it because they're so small
tiny,
and covered in diamonds that they just put like a quartz movement in there. So I think those are the.
I could buy a ladies' watch and send it to a third-party modder and have them take all the jewels out.
You can.
And their payment is they get to keep half the jewels, but then you have to send the other half back to me.
What happens if you try to fit a quartz movement inside of just the watch that you want, the Railmaster? Would it work?
You'd have to have a movement holder that would close the rest of the distance because the interior width of the watch is designed for a mechanical movement, but the quartz movement's probably going to be a lot smaller and thinner. So you'd have to have a movement holder in there that compensated for the gap, but I think it would be fine. If you found I could, how like funny would that be?
Like a big plastic ring. Yeah.
Yeah. And how funny would it be if I bought if I for some reason decided to, if I went fully insane and my family left me and I had nothing to lose, if I spent $5,200 to buy total full MSRP the Railmaster, and then I went to someone and said, hey, can you take the master coax movement out of here and put this like Miyota movement I found in it?
I mean, you can do something nice. You could do like a high torque.
I can find something cool.
You chronometer certified, like what's in a Breitling or something that.
Oh, like the super thermo quartz something, or that'd be kind of badass, right?
And then you can sell the master coaxial movement for lots of money, probably.
What would I do with that movement? Maybe I'll turn into like a little desk clock for myself, a very small, like desk clock.
you can have a desktop terrarium with like little lizards and stuff, and you can just put it as a decorative
Just
element
throw it in there. It's getting like algae and shit from all the humidity on it.
Yeah, it'd be fun. It'd be fun, and we can just put a camera on it and live stream the terrarium all day on our YouTube channel. That would get people really mad, actually.
That would really upset people. I would upset movement enthusiasts. I would upset mega enthusiasts. I'd upset lizard enthusiasts because I'm sure all the chemicals and like lubrication in the watch is like
There's
toxic
oils.
to a lizard. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure, the lizard wouldn't like that very much.
But the quartz people would like it. I think it's worth it. I think we need to invest in this venture.
I'm down.
I think we can 10x everything that TBWS is doing if we do that. Oh, it's been a while.
Do you see this cat?
She's probably so confused. Like, what is
She's
all
like,
this stuff?
Why are you always talking to the box, Dad? God.
No, she's coming.
She's coming. No, the last time you did this, you fucked up my microphone. Here. For those OG TBWS listeners, this is Yang.
The smaller one.
The smaller one.
Smaller one. The nicer one, too.
Too cool, man. What'd you say?
The nicer one, too. At least I think she was nicer to me.
She warms to people much easier than the other one.
The other
They're both very nice.
Stays away.
But that would be, but yeah, if I were living in some sort of fictitious universe where I could do things I want to do, I would do a quartz. I would do a quartz Railmaster.
It's pretty sick.
But I like that. I like a very nice quartz movement like that. Like one of the Bright Lake ones. That would be pretty sweet. So
yeah, I wonder how big the movement is that came in the Colt Sky Racer that we both really like.
It's fucking giant. It's a giant watch. I don't know.
Yeah, but the movement will probably not need much spacing. I don't know.
It's a good point. Who knows? Let us know in the comments. But I'm very interested to see how this evolves because, we are also, I think, getting into a stage of small watch production and micro brand watches. Sorry, my cat's messing with cords down there. Where I don't want to say it's stale, but we're definitely oversaturated with this idea of a micro brand watch. And so I think the landscape is going to evolve to become more competitive. How are brands going to start to differentiate themselves? Like, how are you going to be different than one of like 600 other micro brands or whatever? The idea of like a custom watch department is kind of cool. Like a true custom watch department, I don't think would exist in the micro brand world. That's getting into like crazy like custom, this person just makes 10 watches a year kind of situation, you know what I mean? But like but yeah, I'm curious to see how it evolves and who else adopts it. I think what Raven's doing makes a ton of sense. I think what the Notice folks are doing is also very logical in offering this sort of design lab experience, because it's as opposed to how custom watches or like collab watches were made before, you'd have to run into them or you'd have to reach out to them individually. You'd have to know someone that knows someone and you have to talk to them individually. Now, if you wanted to do a collaboration, you could just go to the design lab and like go through that process there. Having the option of doing something collabed or custom through a website, that's pretty cool. I don't think a lot of brands are savvy enough to have a website experience that's congruent with an actual custom watch building experience.
It's also really hard because it goes against the micro brand model that I think a lot of these guys face early on, where you might have an idea and then you have a min order and you have to just bulk purchase it and then hope they sell.
That's a great point.
So that's basically the ebb, or a big part of the ebb and flow of running a smaller boutique brand. So
the other thing also that's a difference maker is I know specifically in regard to Raven, which is not always the case for all watch brands. Raven has watch techs, has people that can actually put watches together, can actually assemble them. Not everyone has folks that can assemble watches. They have folks that'll like, QC watches and things like that, but not someone that can actually operate as like a watch tech, like putting pieces together, sealing everything, water testing everything. So that is another edge that some brands are probably going to have to leverage and utilize as they maybe try to differentiate themselves in this idea of like a custom watch world. But yeah, so that's pretty interesting actually. But you're
Did you
right; they
change?
have a.
I was just gonna say, did you change your watch? There you go. Now I don't know how long it's been, but I
It's
did
been about
just
30.
notice
It's
it.
been about 30 minutes.
Oh my god.
I did it. I did it very quietly,
Oh
very
man.
slowly. I swapped to the Boulder Odyssey 44 GMT 905 Miyota in here. Definitely a larger watch. Definitely very fun. Um, you're going to see more of it on the. Actually, let me bring it closer here. This watch is
That's not titanium, is it?
no stainless
Oh,
steel, and you feel it. It's very heavy.
I
It's
like the
fun. I
color.
dig it. 12 millimeters, sort of without the crystal. Um, it's too big for me, which is good to know if your wrist size, if you're in the wrist size spectrum of like maybe 7.1, 7.2 and over, this is probably going to be really great, especially if you like large watches that aren't super top heavy or thick. This is not thick. My wrist size is about 6.75 inches. And it's just about the max lug to lug of what I'm comfortable wearing. So um, keep that in mind. But yeah, I swapped about 30 minutes ago. Kudos if anyone noticed.
Missed it. Okay.
I think I intentionally waited for you to like really be like focused on something. I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna do it now. I'm gonna do it right now.
Yeah, that's just what I was thinking for this episode. I found the concept really interesting, and you know, curious about the challenges that come with integrating that into the operation. And
Here's where ideas like this are really sort of put into a crucible and turned it to something great. And I don't mean this in any way of disparagement because Raven's a great friend of the show and you know Steve's great and everything, but what can Raven do better about the custom watch experience? Because that's what's going to start to make the difference. But when more people start to do this, the folks that start to do it better will get the edge. So what can be better about the custom watch experience on the Raven site now? I have an idea, but I'm curious on your thoughts.
I mean, a customizer would be a big part of that, because
Agreed.
now I think it's you have some semi set in stone configurations that you could choose from, and then I think you get a lead time, and then you get the watch. So maybe something that feels more immediate when it comes to buying the watch. Um, and
Because I
immediately
think
I think of Undone. You know,
that
when I
customizer
think
was
of that.
great. You
Yeah.
know, I think so. Oh yeah, this one's a pre-order, the one you were showing. I think for me, the communication aspect is a really big deal because some people aren't super comfortable maybe just sending out an email or messaging someone on Instagram. Like there's something to be said about the prevalence of the e-com experience where it gives someone a level of separation from the human, which kind of sounds weird to say, but I think that's what makes those 2 a.m. Amazon purchases really easy. You can just do it online and you don't have to
Yeah.
worry about like you and I grew up in an era where you had to like if you saw something on television, if it was like an infomercial or whatever, and you really wanted to get the Pure Moods Volume 1 soundtrack. It was like a compilation of songs that existed back in the day as an infomercial. If you really want a Pure Moods Volume 1, you had to pick up the phone and
Call
call
the
someone.
toll free number. Yeah, at 2 a.m. What a
You
time
know
to
what
be
I'm
alive.
saying? So like the idea of offering a custom watch experience where you can build it but without having to send an email or ask if you have something available was great, but that's also informed by what makes the custom watch experience possible in that Raven is a smaller watch operation. There's not you know what I mean, larger websites or websites that have uh more of a focus on their online experience, they can do things like that, but maybe they aren't nimble enough to offer a true custom watch experience um, in like an ecom fashion. So, but I agree that's what I was going to say. I think some sort of online watch configurator, not like the weird slimy thing that the Rolex website does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Configure your watch. Watch us force you into 3 decisions that are already predetermined for you.
What a lie. Yeah. I'm glad I remembered that because that's something that I saw a while ago, and yep, they're still doing it.
That's
So
wild, man. But this is a topic that I'm very interested to see over the next 2 years evolve. I think we're going to see a lot of brands try to figure out again how to differentiate themselves and maybe start to dabble in this. But let us know your thoughts on this custom watch area. Also, if you've actually gotten one of these Raven custom watches, let us know. Let us know what the actual experience was like. Did you just buy? Because he's got just some listed on the website that are already built that you can either buy or just pre-order or something like that. Um, he has this like fluted bezel cathedral two-tone jubilee one, which is like super 36 millimeter, called the Baron. Super date justy. It's fun.
yeah, he's very transparent. Says, "Oh, this is like a Namoki case, like mods case, and all of that." Also,
There's
if you're
this.
the exercise, you can go through in the comments and stuff. Just tell us, who you would want to do this with if you were able to, whether it's a big brand or a third party customizer or a smaller boutique brand. Let us know your thoughts and what approach you would take.
Yeah. Heck yeah. With that said, is it that time? Is it that sad time?
That time it was a quick one today.
Did I do a good job of staying in front of the microphone? Last time Michael told me I kept moving away from the microphone too much and my voice was cutting in and out. I didn't
I
do a good job
was
this time. You're
I
pausing.
was just I might have been paranoid because it came out perfect last time. So you did a fantastic job.
Oh god, thank you. Okay. I get so scared. Is it that time? Is it that sad time?
Yeah, we'll let the kids go and be on our way.
You start it. I'll close it out.
Thanks for listening, guys. My name is Mike.
And this is Kaz, and you have been listening to Turbo Watch Snobs. And a huge thank you again to Boulder for sponsoring my wrist check. So yeah, thanks everyone.